No, don't forget to hug me before you go.
Okay.
It's the blessing.
I'm like, I didn't notice me physically contacting anybody in this office. I don't know. I'm not saying physical contact you, but like your birthday. He's lucky you have it on camera.
Every victory.
Like somebody, my sister asked me what her love language was. And I said touch. And she was just like,
Studio.
Welcome inside the locker room.
It has come to that time of the day, actually, during Smooth Breakfast with Folu and myself, Valentine Ohu, get to talk about sports inside the locker room with Tega.
yes.
What's up, Tega?
I'm cold.
And
I was gonna say, why are you for me, homeboy? Why are you for me, homeboy?
I'm cold.
Yeah,
It is chilly.
we saw the things, all the big moves you made this week.
So, Tiger, why are you
Is it
blaming
like
Yeah,
footballers for other people? Where is that?
yeah.
football abi?
Can I send you the spec of the one I want?
No,
The one I want to shop in the
they don't
morning.
Right
wake up.
after I get the one I
They
want.
don't wake up at that time.
Valentine, don't disturb me. I'm
Oh,
trying
sorry.
to negotiate something
Okay.
here, please. I have a picture. His
Me too.
surname starts with O.
Sorry. It would be nice to have the best story now.
Okay, Lagos, send a message to WhatsApp to contribute to the show 0809 444 981 or send it to youtube.com/smooth91FM Lagos. Or you can also use the hashtag if you're on Twitter, is hashtag lockerroom981. It's to see how his body responds to the first competitive match for 11 months before deciding whether to compete at Wimbledon. Murray endured a frustrating return from his injury nightmare as the former world number one was beaten 2-6, 7-6, 7-4, 7-5 by Australian Nick Kyrgios in the Queen's Club first round on Tuesday. Now, Murray told the press conference, I will not rule out anything out. I will not rule anything out just now. I won't rule out playing Eastbourne and not playing Wimbledon. I would not rule out not playing a tournament next week and trying to get matches like an exhibition tournament as well to get ready for Wimbledon. I'm not sure yet. I'm really happy that I got into the match into the court today and played. It was a close decision. I'll kind of need to wait and see what happens the next few days and chat with my team about that because I don't know exactly what's best for me just now.
Yeah, it was finally great to see Andy Murray on court. And then he wins, takes the first set against Nick Kyrgios because that was a tough test. First of all, you don't want to come back from 11 minutes injury period. He's a big server. He knows how to cover the court well. So most in general, it's his attitude that lets him down, but his tennis is beautiful. And you don't want to face that kind of struggle. You want to start ease your way into the tournament. Unfortunately for Andy, that was the first opponent he had to meet. He took the first set 6-2 and then lost the second set to Nick Kyrgios in a tough battle. And then the third set, which looked like it was going to be close, where he kept fighting. Unfortunately, he still lost that to Nick Kyrgios on his serve. The problem with Andy Murray is that yes, the mind sharpness is still there, but the body is not moving as quick as the mind wants it to move yet. So I totally understand why he'd want to take time and see how his body reacts to that because it was a long match. It was a physical match, and 11 months out, you come in and that's your first match. You want to see how your body can quickly recover, can quickly adjust, and he's not a spring chicken anymore. So I totally agree with him, but I don't think he should miss Wimbledon. If not for anything, the fact that it is grass, it is your home court.
Yeah.
Go
It's
for
not
it.
clear.
Yeah, just take the week off, but from Eastbourne, but go to Wimbledon.
All right, thank you very much for that, Tega. On to our next story now. Let's talk about Dereck Chisora, who has revealed how he was blocked from all of Dillian Whyte's social media accounts after last month's heated confrontation. See, blocking is real. The British heavyweight rivals became embroiled in an angry clash at ringside when they attended Tony Bellew's rematch win over David Hay, and White suggested that Chisora regularly taunts him in messages. Now, asked about the possibility of a second fight, Chisora said, "I don't know yet, but you have to give me that fight, Dillian. We'll have to see. He's blocked me on Instagram and everything. He blocked me on Twitter as well. He's upset."
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this goes back to 2016, where Dillian Whyte, in a unanimous and quite controversial decision, won the fight between these two. And since then, Chisora was like, okay, give me the opportunity to win you back.
Let me at him.
And there has been no agreement, which is why he slides into his DM and taunts him. Like he's trying to get him to get into the ring. That's what he's been trying to do since 2016. Trying to get you into get my own back. I must do my own last. That's what he's trying to do. But Dillian Whyte is not biting, and maybe because Dillian Whyte is not sure how that fight will turn out, I just take my win. However minute it was, and go away. But Chisora is not having any of it, and so when they had to meet face to face, it was again Chisora trying to rile him up to get him to a fight. Unfortunately, it led to blocking on social media. So now he cannot even push for the fight on social media. He has to hold press conferences and the rest, expensive stuff to be able to push for this fight. It's just a sight to see. But here's what it is: there's going to be so many fights, and with UK boxing, most in general, they invite all these other boxers to stay ringside. So they're still going to see each other time and time and again.
Okay.
How about Dillian Whyte just gives him the fight he wants? Let's watch some boxing and go
How
home.
about he gives him a break? Like, well, leave him chasing him
He has
even
to
up
give
to
it-
social
But he
media.
has chased him. He has given a break since
It's okay. Is it by
2016.
force?
Yes,
This is
come on, fight me.
this is 2018. Give him something.
Okay. Send me your messages, please, to WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. So the weather in Volgograd on Super Eagles match day against Iceland could be as high as boiling point 35 degrees centigrade, very much like Abuja heat in dry season. No, seriously. And Nigeria will be hoping that will be an advantage for the mostly foreign-based Super Eagles players. According to an Eagles official, they said the hot weather will be in our favor on Friday in Volgograd. We hope that will affect Iceland and eventually give us the win we badly need to get our World Cup dream back on track. Somebody should tell this official that being called Iceland does not mean you live on ice.
I was going to say, I don't understand what they imagine these people do. They think these people live in the Arctic. Look, these guys are not, they will play you anywhere. Just take it to the bank. The Vikings went everywhere. So trust me, they will play you anywhere. I don't think changing of individuals, because the Super Eagles held a crisis meeting.
Yeah.
So they were talking about attitude, character, and that there was not enough fight by the players. There was not enough hunger. There needs to be more urgency. You did this, you did not do that. It was a crisis meeting.
Yeah.
And so right down from the coach to the players, everybody was trying to make the adjustments that they think will be good for Friday. But for you to come out and say that weather will help you, you will all whittle under the weather.
Wishful thinking.
just play your ball.
All right, let's move on. Talk about Egypt, man. Oh, Egypt. So Egypt's head coach Hector Cuper said that Mohamed Salah was 100% fit for the World Cup, but his absence in training ahead of the tournament due to injury was difficult. He went on to say, when we talk about 100%, we have to look at the medical side. Now, I was told by the medical team that he was fit. Salah is crucial, a vital player for the squad. He's a point of reference. He suffered an injury and we have been worried. We knew that if he recovered in time, it would be a good thing. The only thing I can be sad for is I would have liked to have seen him present at the training ground with the team.
Yeah, so he trained alone and he was able to do that. But here's where there's a lot of things wrong with Egypt. It was Mohamed. It was the defense, and that 5 minutes of lack of concentration. Because okay, the first goal was a mistake. You scored an own goal. Sad. Can we move on now and build up from there? Unfortunately, for Egypt, it was also the plan. Put the ball on the ground. The only time they really had made good pathways into the Russian 18-yard box was when they played the ball on the ground. That lopping the cross into the air against the Russian side was obviously not working. Mo Salah is not taller than the defenders, the two central defenders that Russia had. So he was always going to be boxed up.
Yeah.
Marwan wasn't very good positionally yesterday. And sometimes you need to understand as a striker that it's not every shot, every aerial ball that you aim at the goal post, especially when you're not in the good position. Sometimes you nod it down to your other striker.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. So that their tactics of lopping the ball into the 18-yard box was just not working. That was one of the problems. The second one was the midfield. The midfield was not running with the Russians. So they were a bit more static than the Russians. They were not as mobile. One of the key players that I remember, especially in the build up to the second goal, was El Neni. Did not move with his man. So, in as much as you complain about Salah not being fit, penalty that they should have given that they didn't give, all other things with Egypt, you also have to look at what the Egyptians didn't do that has made them leave the World Cup very early.
Thank you very much, Tega. Keep your messages coming in. We'll be back to talk more stories, especially looking at the Spanish team in the World Cup. Plus, read WhatsApp messages. And on Twitter, remember the hashtag is LockerRoom981.
Watch and you are listening to the Smooth Breakfast with Folu and Valentine.
Yeah. Oh boy. Is this what's that team? That's Sudan, right? The African country. Senegal, rather. My goodness. Loved it over you. I was already reveling over what's this guy's name? Lukaku's goal. And I saw that one.
You see more beautiful.
That was a beautiful goal.
It should have been a second penalty.
Yeah.
If they had given this second penalty, if they would have given this particular penalty, Russia would not have won this match. Because two penalties back to back and they score it. You are finished. Russia would have won this match. At the
end of the day,
yeah. If you're selecting what we call penalty, because when it was against Nigeria, they gave Chustekon for hugging. This guy was actually wrestling. And
yeah.
But this guy was rusty, you could see.
And he missed it. He didn't position himself.
They didn't show that penalty in this.
Ah.
That's not good. Now they're making Russia look like gods.
I swear down.
They're crafting. They're still going to get beaten.
See. Take it back. So funny.
And a yellow card.
With a unique power of 10 hands that removes tough stains easier and gives your clothes an amazing fragrance. Omo removes tough stains.
What is that dream of yours? A vacation, further education, a business perhaps. Get started with Nescafe.
If you want to give me 1 million, give me 1 million. Otherwise.
Prizes when you buy a Nescafe 3-in-1 pouch. Winning is an easy 3-in-1 step. 1. Go to your neighborhood supermarket. 2. Buy a pouch of 10 Nescafe 3-in-1 sachets and get an extra sachet free. 3. Scratch the card you find within the pouch and you can be a winner. Progress is 3 steps away. Get started with Nescafe.
We'll come back with the messages.
Okay, with the messages, eh? Alright, cool.
My name is my Lagos is Ali Kogongo. The first thing that comes to mind is Omota.
We need rapper. Rapper.
Studio. Mike's up.
My Lagos, the place should be a place to make business. You have to be sharp. That is my Lagos.
Definitely a place to be, Lagos, when you come into this beautiful city. The first sound you hear is the sound of Smooth 98.1, and you're listening to the Smooth Breakfast with Folu and myself, Valentine, here inside of the locker room with Tega Supreme. We have a message here from Cruz. Cruz says, yes, so Andy, finally. And then Kenny Hetsuge sent a message that says, what the pig actually scores in Jersey. Senegal won yesterday. Interesting.
Lol.
Lol. Indeed.
More messages coming in. Biggie from K2 says, in this World Cup, nothing is predictable. The Senegalese played a true-hearted game yesterday, and they deserve our jersey. I told someone our Eagles spend more time modeling jersey, doing fashion parade, and taking more selfies with advertising for brands when you're supposed to train. If I hear anybody argue about Senegalese jollof and Niger jollof, I will use your jersey to tie you inside the jollof. The Russian hackers are ready. They showed Salah a repeat goals of the past Champions League, 0-0 halftime, and a whooping 3-1 second half, he says. Interesting, Biggie. Interesting.
After all, the jollof that's tied in the green wrap tastes better, yeah?
Please, let's just say so. I understand we were hurt, but it's okay, guys. Come
Yes,
on,
we were.
it's still the Eagles.
All right, so we'll go back to sports now. Andres Iniesta says the Spanish players have put Julian Lopetegui's sacking behind them as they prepare for Tuesday's game against Iran. Iniesta said, "We want to forget that change. It is true that it wasn't a nice thing for anybody, and it was a difficult thing for everyone. Right now, we want to concentrate on what we're doing and what we have. Have we any doubts about the coaching team? No, we don't. We have never had any doubts," he said.
Why are you lying?
Why you
Okay,
always lie?
maybe Iniesta does not have any doubts about Hero because he met him as a player. But as a coach, I heard that after the match against Portugal, reports came out that there was a small fracas in the locker room of the Spanish team.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And a player was going at the new coach, telling him that he didn't know what he was doing. It came down to the substitution. And so at this particular point, I'm going to come out and say, we've never had any doubts in the coach. I'm just looking at you in my side eye, like,
yeah,
exactly. Ranking, Iran shocked the world by scoring that 9-minute goal and taking 3 points. So Iran is topping the table in that group, and Spain today have to beat Iran. So of course, because of their results from the very first match and Iran's results from the very first match, I don't think, even if they wanted to approach this game a little bit with some kind of laid back attitude, thinking, well, it's Iran, we can get one of them, they're going to play from the start to finish. And even the new coach is going to want to have to justify his position, because even if he does Spain as a coach, remember he used to be technical director. How can you be technical director when you can't win match? Those are questions that need to be asked. Yeah. So I think it's important for him that today Spain does not just get the result, they make a statement with their victory, and that's what they're going to try and do.
That's really cool.
All right. Up next, let's talk about Poland. So Senegal deservedly defeated Poland in a game a few chances to claim the first win by an African team at the World Cup. Although there was a hint of controversy about their second goal. Now Mbaye Niang sprinted back onto the field of play after injury and immediately intercepted a back pass from midfield, beating former Arsenal goalkeeper and Southampton defender to the ball. He then slotted into an empty net, to the confusion and disgust of several Poland players who protested in vain to referee Shukrala, but they did not hear him. I added that part at the end, so please carry on.
So here is where the interesting thing is. Look, there are the rules, and the rules are fair. They may not be just, but they are fair. So once the referee signals that the player can come onto the pitch, the player automatically becomes active. Now, what some players do is that they run on the pitch, try to get back into shape, and they play. This guy ran on the pitch, saw a back pass going somewhere, and he was like, see market here. And he picked the market and scored the goal. So I think what the controversy was is it doesn't happen all the time. Like, you don't just run on the pitch, snatch up the ball and start running. No. So that's why they were confused. They're like, is he allowed to do that? He's just coming on. Should he be running in? But the minute the referee says he can come onto the pitch, he's active. He's allowed to come on the pitch, and so he's allowed to score the goal. If the referee hadn't signaled for him to come on the pitch and he just ran on the pitch and took the ball,
it would have been disallowed.
It would have been disallowed. But once the referee says you can come on, he's active. So I don't think they should complain too much. But the Senegalese, apart from that second goal, were absolutely amazing. Again, like a typical African country, they're considered from set piece. It's an African problem. It's not a Nigerian one. We need to sort that out. But the way they ran at Poland, the way they matched Poland tackle for tackle, pass for pass. That's where it was. And when they were able to defend stoically, stoically against Poland, that was also impressive to see. But let's see how they go further from here. I had high hopes for them at the AFCON, but unfortunately they crashed out to Cameroon. So now I'm looking at them and they look like they're going to go further. I'm supporting them to go at least come out of this group, and let's see how it goes all the way for them.
Exactly.
Congratulations to them.
Yeah, some hopes for green.
Let's see if we can get a few of the messages because you guys are sending them in. So Chesa from Okota says, I promise myself time and time again not to get emotional while watching any of the Super Eagles games, but I still find myself being emotional. I don't want to watch our game against Iceland, but I feel I just might compromise. Somebody help me.
Battle against self.
Well, you should have to hold your hand.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're all in it together. We're all going to watch that game, even though we all swore after the last game we wouldn't.
That
We
one.
will watch because we still believe. Soar, Eagles, soar. Zizi Classic says, as for Salah, he shouldn't take life too hard on himself because there's this guy called Atol, 9 bad pass. At least adding one goal to his name is better than none. And against Morocco, it was a corner. Against Nigeria, it was a corner. Against Tunisia, it was a corner. Even against Egypt, that free kick, set pieces, we have an issue with them. He says, do you now see the effect of the Yeye one corner dance? Wow.
No.
For Senegal. Please
Pull
don't
that
blame
out.
Ghana for things.
Interesting.
It's not them. This we have from Chimabi Victor, who says, the Egyptians we saw yesterday, we will see them in 2026 because they won't qualify for Qatar 2022. While for Nigeria, they will follow Egypt back home next week. That I can tell you for free. Wow. And then Nonso says any team can concede from set pieces. Tega, it's not an African thing.
I don't want us to have this argument. Just go and look at the amount of set pieces, the amount of goals that have been considered for set pieces, and check out African countries.
Yeah.
Let's not have this conversation again.
It's pretty easy to see, actually. The correlation is clear. While we've got MI from Akoka, who says, Tega, I think we owe Alhaji Lai Mohammed an apology. Senegal does have the best jollof.
It's a lie. Football is fed from Jollof. Don't even try me or MI. In fact, I'm not reading again. I'm not.
He goes on saying Salah couldn't do more than he did. I just don't know what it is with African players and own goals, though. Own goal happens to everybody now. It's just sad. And Jide from Ishaga says, I feel Chisora isn't going to get that something with White because White wants to move on to bigger things. White, has got his sights on Pilev or Parker, not going back to old foes that won't improve his rankings.
Interesting.
Okay.
Let's talk Neymar now. Neymar left Brazil training early on Tuesday after feeling pain in his right ankle and will go into physiotherapy, the Brazilian Football Confederation said.
Sorry, we have
Take note, but yeah, thanks for the observation. Exactly, spirit animal, active. Now, the Brazilian Football Confederation confirmed this, that Neymar has gone into physiotherapy. They said in a statement, according to a spokesman, they said he was feeling pain thanks to the large number of fouls he suffered in the Switzerland game. They said he complained of pain, and so he went into physio, and he will train normally tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the story they're telling us now. But with Neymar, considering the fact that he was out with an injury for a while, I don't think I think they should be looking for other options just in case. And he's one of the most foul players again because he can be very what's the word now? He can instigate you to do certain things against him with his shooting, and that's it. Because a simple pass that Neymar, he want to dribble, he want to lob it over. He's just he can be very infuriating, and so players tend to kick him a lot. And that's not very good for an ankle that was out for a period and is still very vulnerable to that. But I mean, Coutinho has come out to say that look, regardless of Neymar, Brazil is not a Neymar team. Regardless of Neymar, that they're going to be able to find somebody else to play. And I think Firmino hasn't had enough chances to show what he can do. I think he has an opportunity to show what he can do. If he doesn't make it, will they make it through the group? I think so. But I mean, if they come against other big teams, I think eventually they're going to have to need Neymar down the line. So in as much as Neymar is an important player, don't risk him if he's not ready.
Thank you very much, Tega. Lagos, we'll take a short break. We'll be back to read more of your messages and just go through the concluding part of the locker room. That's what you're listening to. Send a message to WhatsApp and also tweet at us with the hashtag LockerRoom981.
My legs are cold.
anybody can concede from set piece. Of course, anybody can concede from set piece.
But
And just
the
Africa is not conceding a
consistency
lot.
with which we do
Yeah. What are you saying?
Yes. Because you can almost count on the disorganization in that place. Because once you see that there's a set piece, you're like, Jesus is Lord.
You can see that we are confused.
He did you. Because of Nigeria. Now put hashtag Wakanda. Yeah, it does.
You'll be alright.
Please no.
Even the South Americans are struggling. But this one I forgive them because they had a red card.
Dominating the competition.
Europe is killing it.
Alright. Then tomorrow after will be shouting.
When everybody's going to European League, everybody's going to European League. South America is going to European League.
All of us have come back now. Why can we not now form together?
No,
That's an
what I'm
issue.
saying is, if you play the European
Oh my goodness.
League, if you
Sorry.
play the you said it was a goal.
You was, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you play the European League for 5 months straight, and you stay in your country for 2 months, what's your muscle memory?
Yeah, but still, but my thing is, right, you're still playing the same sport, and more importantly, you're not even playing it in your home country, you're still playing it in Europe.
Yeah, but the style of football will favor the owner of the football.
But if all of you in your team are all foreign home players,
They're all foreign
Baba.
based players.
and that's my point.
But they're not playing European style of football against Europeans. It will not be.
Lagos, we're back to talk about sports a lot more here on Locker Room.
I'm still talking about it unofficially. Make sure you go check out our YouTube live stream because Tega and I are still discussing why. I have so many questions. Well, we'll jump into our final sports story for this morning. So Germany winning their next 2 World Cup matches hinges on attitude and not changing players, says goalkeeper Manuel Neuer. He says every match is like a final. We are convinced we can do it. We are frustrated and disappointed. Now it is up to us to react. We know the players on the pitch can deliver and take responsibility. So for me, it's more about readiness to play at 100% and not about personnel and changing players.
Yeah, I agree with him to some extent. I know what he means. He at the end of the day, the team that stepped out against Mexico should have been more than enough to win the game for them, and that's basically what he's trying to say. That you don't necessarily have to chop and change players to get the result. That the players that they had at the start of the game and even when they made the substitutions was enough for Mexico. But they're going to have to change their attitude and their approach. Number one, they need to calm down. You're Germany, just calm down. It's not every time because you're 1 goal down, you start rushing to take shots and wanted to kill Ochoa on the day. But let's see how it turns out for them. I still think they can come through this group. Ultimately, for me, the match against Mexico and Germany was a battle for who should top the group, not who should come out of the group. So I still think that they can get the results against Sweden and still ultimately come out of this group. So let's see how it goes for them.
All right, so let's take your messages. Tunde sent this one. It said Nigerians had better be prepared to see the Eagles exit the World Cup with 0 points and 0 goals. I actually do not see the potential if that team scoring a goal with the midfield that can't even supply through passes to the strikers. Tunde, thank you very much for that one. Big E from Kitsu says I came to say that Senegalese played well, and that is a goal. That it's a goal, and the free goal. But Tega, this World Cup wonders me. Okay, Biggie, what are you saying? Moving on now. Kay sent this one. Kay says, Tega show, why are you all on red dress? I smell red card in today's matches. Neymar again to put Brazil on World Cup high jump. Tega, why were you arguing off air with the big hair lady?
No, okay, respect yourself on my show.
Interesting.
Please, put some respect on my name, Folu.
Okay, we see you on YouTube. Pippin. Kenny Hitege says, let's bear in mind that Germany, Spain, Brazil, Argentina, and Portugal are yet to win a game. At least 2 big names are leaving the group stages. Remember Spain in the last World Cup.
Shocker.
And Egypt is seriously familiar on this World Cup.
We don't do transfer in national teams. Next.
No.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Everybody from Rakoka is back. We're going to enjoy the same round of matches at this year's World Cup. I am here for the drama. Am I? You and all of us. We are ready for it because after we get through this group stage, it's about to be intense. We want to thank all of you for taking your time to send in messages and to send us comments as well. Big shout out to our YouTube live commenters, Monsieur Ooze, who initially brought up the red. Thank you for seeing that. And Noel S, who says, Please help me ask them. Is it Russia football coincidence? I don't know. No. But
People
you
are
have a
having
great day.
conversations. Because next is Lagos Talks 91. That's where we all get to talk. Remember, the number to call is 0144 89981. It's Smooth 98.1.